All right,
Good.
guys. So let's just dive right into it. We're live. The audio is good. Everything's awesome. All right. So I need no introduction, shamelessly, but I want to introduce you, Lydia, who was a student of the Recruiter Mentorship Program, and a very great one at that, and did some awesome stuff, and is currently doing some really cool stuff. And so I thought it'd be a good idea for us to hop on and do an interview, just kind of about how things went in the program, and ask you some questions overall, just for basic information for people that are curious and stuff like that.
Sure.
Awesome. Cool. Good deal. So basically, I mean, the burning question, right? What a lot of people always want to know is, Lydia, how many contracts or how many clients did you secure from being in the program itself?
Okay, great. That's a good question. I've secured 5 contracts. So, well, let me double count, check again. One, two, three. Sorry, 6 contracts ending in 9 total candidates to be placed. So that's a
Mm.
good thing. And a total of about 42 to $43,000 in revenue once I get them all placed.
Love it. Love it. That was my second question. So everyone wants the client numbers and the money numbers. So my second was basically how much projected revenue is there in the pipeline, which you said something about 42,000.
Yeah, 42 to 43,000. Yep.
So once all these 9 open roles are placed, it'll be 42,000, something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. Awesome.
Yep.
And your journey was a little bit unique. So we like got off, we started, setting things up. We built the systems and processes and put things in place. And then, basically you were doing the hard work. You were just going after it, going after it, going after it. And
Yeah.
then it was like a flood that just all came, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I, I think it's important to go back to the beginning. So the end of March, beginning of April is when I actually started my business. I actually
Mhm.
launched it probably that first week of business. I joined your mentorship group and I went through the process of watching the videos and engaging with you the entire time. Because if you're not engaged, I don't really see how success can come if you're not engaged, so being a part of the process is so important. And I still, as you know, I still get on some of the Tuesday calls. I still get on the Thursday calls as much as possible. A little bit more backstory too is I am still working full time as a clinical manager for a medical device company.
Mhm.
So that's still my 9 to 5 job. And I have this gig on this side as well. I do have a virtual assistant. So, like you mentioned, I mean, I did the process. I started doing the cold emails and reaching out and building more of a backbone and some tough skin because some people are, um, they don't they don't know where you're coming from, nor do you know where they're coming from. So we have
Mhm.
to give people a little bit of grace. And some people are a little hateful sometimes. They don't
Mhm.
like being necessarily reached out to uh, with a cold email. But I've actually put in there, hey, this is a cold email. I don't even know if you're hiring for sure or not, but blah. And that's usually my first one. Usually about the third or fourth contact is when I actually get some people that bite and are more interested in maybe hearing more about the contract and so forth. Um, so within the first few weeks, I had my first potential contract, but that kind of, well, the first week I had my first potential contract, but that fell through, and that's normal. I mean,
Mhm.
so I just kept plugging away, sending, oh gosh, at least 1,000 emails a week, at least.
Mhm.
I could obviously send more, but I am still working. So like we mentioned, I've gotten busier, so I have hired a virtual assistant.
Mhm.
And she does a lot in the evenings or at night while I'm sleeping. So I'll wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, you have these appointments scheduled. Great.
Right.
So I follow up where she leaves off. And
Mhm.
so that's kind of where I'm at now, I guess. It's been great. I can't complain.
Love it. Kind of a I guess a parlay question off of that is, you got these contracts and then you have these open roles and everything. So I guess since the inception of the program when you started, what was the time frame of, like, getting everything prepped, getting everything rolling, doing all the work, and then reaping the fruit of that, actually seeing the traction, signed contracts, here's the open roles to fill, all that kind of stuff. Like,
Uh,
In a general ballpark, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. In the general ballpark, getting everything set up probably took me close to 5 days or so.
Mm,
And that's getting my business name licensed and so forth with the state, getting my checking account set up,
mm,
um, starting with my lead leaper, sales navigator, getting all those processes in place as well. So that probably took about 5 to 7 days.
mm,
Doing a lot of it kind of in the evening or in my spare time and so forth. But then after that, and revamping the wonderful what's the word I'm looking for? Scripts, I guess you could say, the
mm,
blind email or cold email scripts that you gave us. Just kind of making those my own, so they
mm,
cater to what I was looking for. And I do still reach out to all niches. I haven't really niched out to anything specific, but it is
mm,
kind of interesting how I am getting more IT and some medical, but it's probably because if they're going on my website, which was a part of the process as well, getting that set up, if they're going on my website or my Facebook or my LinkedIn, they'll see that my background is nursing. So I think
mm.
some of those accounts just kind of flock to me because of that,
Right.
which is great. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of a comfort place for me as well, but it's good to challenge myself and to step out. So I also have had quite a few IT as of recent, and some marketing and media positions I've reached out to. But I
Mm.
think it probably took 3 to 4 weeks for me to get my first solid contract that was like meant business, if that makes sense, you
Yeah,
know?
that makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of good advice for people, and helpful advice, I think, because a lot of people think that you know recruiting and business in general is more of like an overnight thing, right? And it could be nothing short of the truth, or further from the truth,
Yeah,
because it's not. We all know it's not. That's not how it goes. It's there's no shortcut, right? So it's all hard work, and us working together, of course, takes that learning curve, cuts it in about half, hopefully more, right?
right.
Obviously what you put in is what you get out, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But one of the things that I love about your entire kind of work ethic and your story and the things that you've done is that you work a full-time 9 to 5 job, and this is not a
Yeah.
regular 9 to 5 job. Lydia travels a lot, like
Yeah.
traveling, right?
Yeah. I'm
And
in a hotel right now in St. Louis, Missouri, actually. So
right.
yes, I travel for work.
So first off, very thankful that you were able to do this from your hotel
Yeah.
room. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, traveling all the time, and also doing this, but putting in the hours, after work,
Yeah.
before work,
Right.
whenever it's possible, right?
Well, and around baseball.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm a mom of two. I've got a
right,
kiddo going to high school. Holy smokes, no, college. I wish he was going to high school, darn it.
right.
Um, going to college in a month, actually. She leaves for the University
Wow.
of Arkansas in a month. And then I've got an eighth, will be an eighth grader in August. So,
Mm,
he plays competitive baseball and he does football. So I'm fitting this in all around. And I've been married to the same man for 20 plus years, praise
mm,
God. So juggling it with all of that going on. But if your passion and your drive is strong enough, you will make anything work. And I tell my kids that all the time. Like,
mm,
you've got to find joy in everything that you do. It may not be in the job itself, but it could be in the outcomes that come from it. And I like recruiting. I like it a lot,
mm.
versus other things I've done in life. And, we have time and money for what we choose to have time and money for. And this is what I'm choosing to spend it on. So, yeah.
Love it. Yeah, that speaks volumes, I think, for anyone that's watching this live or anyone that's going to watch the replay later. Because there are so many people out there that have 9 to 5 jobs, and their 9 to 5 jobs are, go to an office, come home type of thing. And they're not like traveling 9 to 5s, and they don't maybe even have, all the baseball games you've got to attend, right? And handling
Yeah.
all the collegiate stuff you're doing with your daughter, and all of that, right?
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? So it's kind of like sometimes you want to just say, hey, what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Right? Because Lydia's doing it, so um so with what you've nailed down and all of that, I mean, it's amazing stuff, and it's really incredible. Um, I think another one I was going to ask you is, did you start from scratch, like when we started this
Oh
for
yeah.
recruiting?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I've done recruiting in the past as in a nursing position. And what I mean is I worked for a CRO for doing clinical trials, and I would find nurses in the United States and Canada, but not like this, if that makes sense. Like I
Yeah.
was these nurses were already hired in an home health institution of some sort or agency of some sort, and I was just trying to find these agencies and partner with them
Hmm.
and get those nurses to see patients in their homes. But this is,
Right.
yeah, no real background or training otherwise. So,
Mm.
I'm just learning on the fly, which is fine. I mean, that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur, right? So, I
Right.
mean, but yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, and you definitely took the bull by the horns. That's what I can say. One thing about Lydia for sure, and which by the way, if anyone's watching live or on the replay, like we're gonna do hopefully weekly interviews of people that are just like Lydia, almost as good. No, people are doing really really well. But with that being said, like one of the things that I take away from it is that your consistency and your persistence really just paid off
mm-hmm.
massively. And obviously, you've got the pipeline you have now and roles to fill and more on the way. You've got the VA, right? So you have the virtual assistant for anyone that doesn't know,
Yep.
and you're gonna have them sourcing out the positions for you and all of that to make it easier and easier and easier. And what's the ultimate goal, like at the end of the day for you?
What's my ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Um, I would like to just actually have my business where I've scaled it up and I've got more where I'm like, I mean, I'm the founder and the CEO of my company, but actually be the founder and CEO of like five people below me or so,
Yeah.
and maybe even, people here in the United States that I can just help. I really would like to give back more to my community. So I'd like it to be a well-oiled machine where it
Mm-hmm.
kind of takes care of itself more and I can volunteer more, which I know sounds crazy, but I love volunteering in our local food pantry and stuff. And I just want to be a
Mm-hmm.
servant to my community. And I know that owning my own business and owning my own time will afford me that availability to do that. So, and also it's being a role model for my kids. My kids
Mm-hmm.
are at that age where they are watching everything I do, and
Right.
my husband's fine being where he's at. He's a systems architect for uh, what do you want to say? EMR company.
Okay.
But anyway, so I can't really give out the name, but
Sure.
so he's good being his little introvert and doing his little introverted stuff on his computer,
Right.
which is great. I mean, it all takes different walks, right? So,
Absolutely.
but I've always been a go-getter and I want to show my kids that we still live in the freest, best country in the world and go after it.
Yes, yes, 100%. I think you've definitely shown that through all of your efforts, through everything you've done, everything you've accomplished, and all of that. Super proud to kind of just be able to have this conversation at this point now.
Yeah.
To talk about the things that you've accomplished and all that, which are super super great. I know it looks like there were about 30 people watching this, but there'll be a lot of people watching the replay. And somebody says, thanks, I really needed to hear this today. Awesome stuff. Someone said, can we share this link? Yeah, you sure can. With Lydia's permission. Yeah,
Oh, please do. Absolutely. Yes. I
sure.
might want to be on here if I didn't want to share it. So sure. Mhm.
Absolutely. Let's see who else had something that they wanted to notate. Yes, want the freedom to your life. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
Angela or Angie. Yeah.
Well, and this might sound funny, but another thing
Mhm.
too. So I am motivated by what brings my family joy, which I know sounds funny. My love language is positive words of affirmation and so forth. And so I've actually, I'm putting myself out there yet again. I'm like, okay, so my business needs to make at least $100,000 soon because
Mhm.
I'm going to put a pool in our backyard.
Love
Um,
it. Awesome.
and I want my daughter's school to be paid for,
Hmm.
and I would like our mortgage to be paid off because then I can give even more. I can give even more to my community and even more to my family that's in need or so forth. So yeah,
Right. Right. And that's an interesting thing that you bring up because I always talk about people living in a scarcity mindset, or people
Oh
think
no.
right, or people thinking that it's not their time to jump into a venture and start getting rich, quote unquote, or on the way to being rich. At the end of the day, six figures is not much, right?
Mm-mm, it's
When
not.
you hit $100,000, hey, get some more, you know,
Well,
and
do you do you
yeah,
mind really quick if I
go
stop
ahead.
you, Ben? 'Cause I don't think people know where I come from.
Yeah, go
So
ahead. Go
I
right
came
ahead.
from a poor farming community in rural Missouri. We were very poor, welfare, food stamps. I was the free school lunch kid.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I always told myself that my kids will not live that life,
Hmm.
that they will aspire to be more and do more. And I will do that too and show them, be that walk for them to see. Because in my town, a lot of people fall in that or stay within that certain class that they're born into.
Hmm.
And I don't believe in that. I
Right.
believe that we are who we make ourselves to be.
Hmm.
But I put my faith in God, or whatever you want to call your maker. But I put my faith there, and I push forward for whatever greatness I can accomplish. My story isn't the same as everyone else's. My journey has not been easy in life, for sure, and I have worked hard for everything I've done. But
Hmm.
um, it's all about how much work you're willing to put into your business, and it will come back. And
Hmm.
you will have pitfalls and you'll have disappointments, but it's when you fall and you don't get back up is when you fail. But when you fall and you learn and you get back on, then that's where the win is. That's where the success is. And success isn't in the numbers that you earn. Success is in the joy that you find.
I love it. Yeah, couldn't have been said better. I absolutely agree with everything you said. A bunch of people in the chat have definitely agreed with that. Um, and yeah, lots of people agreeing with you here on that, for sure. Because at the end of the day, we choose what we want, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people can make a decision. Hey, is this something that I want to level up on and actually do, or do I want to submit myself to the average and be the average? And I think a lot of people, just to pivot on what you were saying, is decide, hey, well, I'm going to be that average and I'm just going to live that life, versus really obtaining whatever you want over time, right?
Yep.
Obtaining whatever you want. We have one life to live. God's given us one life, right? And well, I think we have two lives, right? It's the life that you're born into, and the second one is when you realize you're going to die, right? And
Yeah.
so right, that quote. And I think it's really like when you come to those realizations and all that is when you actually take some real action, to manifest the things that you want. Do you want a business that you can get, like you said, 5 employees under you, that you can be the founder, CEO, 5 people are doing everything? It's a well-oiled machine. You're able to give back to your
Oh,
community, do all those things.
5 is the least, Ben.
The
I
least.
just threw 5 out there. I mean, I would like it
Totally.
to go even further, obviously, but 5 in the first year would be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 5 people working on your roles first year, 20 people the next year. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I mean, it's all about growth, right? Growth and all of that. And to do that, what do you have to have? A spirit of abundance and a mindset and a vision and all of those things that I teach and preach, talk about all the time. But ultimately, I'm so glad that you got where you got, and you're going where you're going. Even more importantly, right? Um,
Yep.
and yeah, so this definitely spread some really, really good juju and vibes, and I think hopefully inspired a lot of people with this interview, discussing just your success and the things you've done. Do you have any last parting notes or words?
Yeah, you need to be willing to invest in yourself. Um, Especially as a business owner, and every day spend that little bit of time on yourself, whether it's going to the gym just to get a clear mind first thing in the morning, which I do, um, or, and reading a leadership book or I've started listening to recruiting podcasts, things to just to keep you motivated and keep you going, because you will get, you'll get some real wrenches in your gut, and you got to find a way to pick yourself back up. And whether it is you've got that that dream board in front of you that reminds you of why you do it every day, or you just hug your kids or your loved ones. You're like, this is why I do it. Whatever it is, it keeps you grounded, because it's easy to fall back to, oh, well, I could just go back and look for this job, or I could go back and do this. But um, always being forward focused. And, you're going to have those times. You've read some of the emails I've gotten, and I'm like, whoa, I can't
Mhm.
believe you sent that to someone.
Yep.
Would you send that to your mom? Probably not.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but just knowing that you're better than that, and just believe in yourself, because no one else can do this for you but you. No one else can do this for you but you.
I love that. I love that. I can't say it better myself, but yeah, you can't instill that type of mindset within someone. They really have to foster it themselves.
Yep.
So I love that. Um, Lydia, I'm really happy you were able to come on. People are going nuts in the chat, talking about your inspiration, all that. You'll be able to see it afterwards,
Okay.
and things like that. People say much needed. They love your energy, all that. Needed this right on time. Yeah, you can check that all out. But okay,
If anybody wants to reach out to me individually, they can too, Ben. I mean, absolutely. I'm happy
awesome.
to, with their blessing and your blessing. Absolutely. So,
Absolutely, yeah. If you have a particular question or something, if you want to hear like a little, something about Lydia's story or whatever, she said it right here. Reach out to her directly. And yeah, she's in the Facebook group, the Six Figure Facebook, in the group that we're doing this live in right now. So you can do so. So I promised her this would be short. We wouldn't go too long winded. I know you're busy, right? Doing the things that you're doing and all that. So I want to respect your time and all that. So we'll cut it here. But definitely thank you very much for this interview.
yeah,
I think a lot of people got a lot out of it.
good. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, Ben.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you. All right, we'll cut it here, and this will be on replay, everyone. All right, take care.
Bye, guys. God bless.